Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Tricks Fundamentals. This is Yash, and today I'll be going over variables and simple data types in Python. So to start off, we need to know what a data type is. Data types are many categories used to hold various types of information. The four main data types in Python are integers, which are used to hold whole numbers such as 0, -1, 7, etc. Floats, which are used to hold decimal numbers like 0.1, 10.0, 3.9, and so on. Strings, which hold any text or a series of characters, and finally, booleans, which hold only two values, either true or false. This can be declared as adding the keyword true or the keyword false, or you can also have 1 for true and 0 for false. Next up, we need to learn what variables are. Across all programming languages, variables are used to hold data. For example, as we see here, we have message is equal to hello world. And then out here we do print message. So in our case, message is our variable and hello world is the data that we're storing inside our variable. In our case, since we have the quotation marks as we saw previously, this is a string. So inside the message, which is a variable, we're putting in a string which includes hello world. And then using the print command, we're printing out the message, which basically prints out hello world. However, variables come with a few caveats. There are rules you must follow to declare them correctly without causing any errors. Rule number 1 is variables can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores, variable names. So if you have a variable name which has an asterisk, or if you have like a division sign, that will not work. Rule number 2 is variable names cannot start with a number. So if you want to have a variable like name underscore 1, that is completely reasonable. But what you cannot have is one name. That will cause an error inside your code. Instead, you can have name1. Rule number 3, variable names cannot contain any spaces. So if you have a name, for example, you want to say first name is your variable name, then you have to have first underscore name or first name all in one word. You cannot have first space name, as Python thinks as two different words, and that's not a variable. And lastly, variables cannot be named pre-built Python keywords, such as the print function we saw before. So you cannot name a variable print because Python already has print reserved for one of its commands. So now we know about variables, let's look at a few operations we can perform on strings. First up, we have the .title operation. This command just converts our default string into a string whose first letter of each word is capitalized. As you can see in this example below, here we have variable declaration, which is name is equal to Ada Lovelace, and then we're printing out name.title. So normally if we print out just name, we give Ada Lovelace lowercase. In our case, since we put .title in front of it, our operator, as you can see, our output is Ada Lovelace, except the first word, Ada, the A is capitalized, the first letter, and of the second word, the first letter, the Lovelace, L is capitalized. Another string operation we can manually perform is to combine and concentrate the strings together. For this, we simply have to add a plus sign when printing, which tells Python that we want to combine them together. For example, we have a variable named first under name. As we saw before, we can't have a space in between, so we just put an underscore. First under name is equal to Ada, and last under name is equal to Lovelace. So in this case, when you say print first under name plus last under name, this basically tells Python that we want to combine the two, and it'll print out Ada Lovelace. Now you may be wondering, when working with strings, how do I indent or print the same string but on two separate lines? Well, for that we have escape characters. These are used to insert characters that are illegal in strings. Some of the most important escape characters in Python include quotes, which you can have using the backslash and a single quote, or a backslash and double quote, depending on which quote you want to perform. The backslash, which are two backslashes. The new line escape code, which is a backslash and an N. This basically indents your whatever you're pinning to the next line. A tab, which adds a tab, which is your backslash, a T, and the backspace itself, which is a backslash and a B. While very useful, these do bring up one huge problem in Python. To us, a string Python with a space after it may seem identical to the string just Python without the space. However, for Python, these are two different strings. To bypass this issue, there is a rstrip operation too. As you see in this example right here, you have a variable in which you declare language is equal to Python and you have the space right in front of it. And then what you want to do is print language.rstrip. What this rstrip function does is it strips the white space that is outside Python, and when you print out, you just print Python itself. Moving a little bit away from strings, we have number operators. Unsurprisingly, math symbols in Python are very similar to math symbols we are normally used to. As you can see here, some number operators in Python are addition, which is the plus sign, subtraction is the minus sign, multiplication is the asterisk, which is normally found above 8, and division is the slash, and exponents are double asterisk, which are again found normally above your 8. Python also supports order of operations when doing math problems. So as you see here on the right side, when you have print 2 plus 3 times 4, according to PEMDAS, 3 times 4 happens first, where 4 times 3 is 12, and then you add 2, which prints out 14. But if you have parentheses in 2 plus 3, it adds them together first. So 2 plus 3 in this case is 5, and then times 4 is 20. Finally, we have comments. Comments are incredibly helpful as they are used to write notes to yourself or anyone reading your code. Comments can be declared with a hashtag, and anything after that in that specific line will not be read as code. When compiling, Python will simply ignore it. So as we see in this example here, we have our comment indicator, which is the hashtag, and then our comment is say hello to everyone. Over here, and then after that we say print hello world. So when compiling and running the program, Python sees that we have a hashtag here and it completely ignores everything after it. And then we print out hello world to our output. This way, if anybody else is reading my code or if I'm reading my code at a later time, I know what the code is saying and I know what it's doing. And that sums up today's video. I hope you learned something new, and if you want to learn more about Python, make sure you like and subscribe. Bye.